misunderstanding. I don't mean just the Muslim. Christians supporting the rule for a length of time. I have to show to you that I'm worthy of it, the conditions between you and I.
I understand what you're saying, but my attitude would be this. I would say that it is not, I would not favor giving to a whole group this idea of a room. I would say that every individual, no matter what race or color he may be, has the right to have this room of his own, to have a right to do what he is capable of as an individual.
I think you're misunderstanding. I don't mean just the Muslim.
I mean all the
people in America.
No, I don't believe it. I don't believe that the Jews should be given that opportunity as a group of Jews. I don't believe that the Poles or the Christians or the Methodists. And I don't believe that the Negroes ought to be given that opportunity as a group of Negroes to stay together, live together, and have this room that they can call their own. I believe that every individual who is prepared in his own way, as an individual, intellectually, emotionally, psychologically, should have the absolute right to achieve everything that he can achieve. And that nobody ought to stand in his way except in the ordinary matters of the laws of the land, which apply to everybody, not just to this individual. I think that, and I believe that there are many Negroes, even to say it that way already sounds condescending, but I see no reason why Negroes are not already prepared to live fully, completely equal lives in their own way, to the extent that their individual capacities and their wealth, even and their intellectual ability allows them.
Yes.
And that should be done on an individual basis for every individual who can do it.
Yes.
This is my own belief.
They are among us people that is capable of starting an independent government for themselves and their entire people. But they need help and support. But that same person trying now to become an equal member of this appearance people that he's already enslaved under. I'm trying to get at that point. You're not advising me, which you could not. You could advise me to leave America. That would be against the friendship of America and yourself. I'm not even asking for that. Well, I'm asking this to show me this truthfully, whether or not that the idea that the two systems, this is on the table now. One group is working for separation, total separation, while another group is working for totally merging in. What makes sense? If that people have already been enslaved for 400 years under that same people and are suffering injustice at the hand of that people at the very moment, what makes sense to try now to ask the man, the master, to change his mind and allow the man to live in more better, comfortable peace with you? If he wants to go, since you have freedom, you said you freedom.
Yes.
If he wants to go from you,
I'll tell you
give him the privilege of going from.
Because things change from time to time. Because if Negroes would demand, for example, 20 years ago, the things that they are demanding today, they would be cut down in the streets.
Yeah, they would.
Much more often than they are. They are still cut down in the streets.
Mm-hmm.
But they would be cut down much more than they are today. Now, how do we account for that? Why is it that the white people are willing now more to grant the demands of some Negroes than they were 20 years ago?
Yeah, because of the time that held up.
More often than they are. They are still cut down in the streets.
Mm-hmm.
But they would be cut down much more than they are today. Now, how do we account for that? Why is it that the white people are willing now more to grant the demands of some Negroes than they were 20 years ago?
Yeah, because of the time that held right.
Well, I
people, races of the people were not able to do it.
Well, England and France fought for many hundreds of years. Now they don't fight anymore.
But
Germany and France just fought, as it may be. I think and hope will be able to be overcome. I don't see any other solution myself, you see. I cannot see the mechanism of any other solution. I'm not saying, by the way, that the future of the Negro is rosy and that everything will be solved in this country. I'm not saying that by any means. I'm only saying that so far as I can see, this is the road that it has to take. It may not ever go far enough along that road, but that's the road that it must take. In my humble opinion,
I'm trying to solve the problem by the two races living.
I don't see it as the two races living together and coming together. I think that is very, very far off. For example, look at Jews and Christians. Look at what they have been doing. I mean, certainly all of the light-colored people in this country, that is the mixed dark and light people, are the consequence of people cohabiting. I mean, that's quite clear that has happened.
That's what we're getting after now. You have had the freedom to discolor my people, but we haven't had that kind of freedom to discolor your people. You're too intelligent for that. But we have been too dumb and too weak to oppose you. And now, since we are not strong enough yet to oppose you, we want to go from you to stop you from destroying us.
I think that, yes, I understand that. Let me put it this way. I think that even the road that I regard as the proper one for the relationship between Negroes and whites in this country, I think even that road will produce separation. Because I believe that as the Negro develops his own demands and his own ideas and wants to be his own master, even though he preaches, or even though for example, Martin Luther King and others may preach integration, they are really separated. Whether they talk integration or they don't talk integration, they are really separated to a certain extent.
Certainly,
they are really separated no matter what they say they're doing.
They are.
And I think that this kind of separation is is essential to the ultimate coming together of the two groups on a basis of equality. But to hold out the ideal of separation forever and for eternity, I mean, this is something that I can't accept. Now, it may only be emotionally that I can't accept it, or I don't know whatever it may be, but that's the way I feel. I think that, for example, I think that all of these terms that we use, we draw these distinctions too sharply. I don't think that those who preach separation preach ultimate and absolute separation. I think those who preach integration are not really preaching ultimate integration. I think that those who talk about nonviolence are not always nonviolent and are always really involved in violence, whether they create it or not.
Sugar is sugar, salt is salt. If you can't dig it, it ain't my fault. This is to be continued. Assalamu alaikum.